Okay, so it should say that we are live when we are live.
Live when we're live.
Are we live? Can you see us?
I'm still trying to find the group.
Yeah, we're live. I can see us. There we are. Wonderful. So hi everyone. Hi coach community. And lovely to see you on this sunny day. So I'm really excited about the live today with Jean-Pierre de Villiers. So all of you should have, I hope, have seen the magazine by now. And he is our cover coach and he's a high performance coach. And I'm just going to introduce you to him. And then he's going to share some gems with us today, which I'm really, really looking forward to. So Jean-Pierre de Villiers is a South African-born professional athlete, high-performance coach, NLP practitioner, inspirational speaker, and author. He also takes on extraordinary fitness challenges around the world and changes thousands of people's lives every year through his inspirational speaking. And his focus in his coaching is helping people to understand how to achieve self-mastery through the three pillars, which is mental, physical, and heart connections. So his pretty much whole adult life has been invested in his own personal development and self-mastery. So today we're going to hear from the man himself, and I would love to welcome him to the group and say thank you for your time. So hello, JP.
Hello, thank you for having me here, and thank you for having me as part of your amazing magazine.
Oh, it's absolute pleasure. And today, of course, your podcast episode is live as well. So I thought we could time that for the same as the live. So we did a great podcast last week. And if people want to listen to that, I'll put that in the link as well. So the three pillars, Jean-Pierre, let's talk about your three pillars, because I love this. I love the three pillars. I think that's really so foundational.
So I've always been into transformation. For time, I'm not going to tell my whole story, but at 23 years old, I hit rock bottom moving from Cape Town, South Africa, and chasing a life that I thought was going to make me feel successful and significant. And I ended up just on my own in Riga, Latvia, having just DJ'd the whole night, and just felt like I had lived a life of consumption and I wasn't actually contributing, not just to myself in a healthy way, but I wasn't contributing to the world in any way other than getting people off their ...
Yeah.
And I just went to work on myself. From the age of 23 to 25, I wanted to transform JP de Villiers.
And that's interesting because a lot of people don't get that in between feeling. Like, what do you think created that in you, that you looked around and you thought, well, this just feels a bit empty, or whatever it was that you felt? What was that? Because that's awareness, right?
Yeah, so I've said this, I can't remember if I was on our podcast, but I have a couple of things that I cannot ignore are gifts. Everyone has a genius, or everyone has this thing that comes more naturally to them than other people. And for me, awareness has always been, I've always had a very heightened sense of awareness and a sense of feeling energy. And even when I was in school, I would look around at the other kids in school and it would be like I'm watching the television. That's how I felt growing up. It was like I was watching a show and I was understanding what was going on. And anyway, so 23 to 25, I went into transformation and I did what I knew. And that was, having grown up in South Africa and Cape Town, I had always done sport. So I knew that the first vehicle by which I can transform myself is to get back into sport and get fit and healthy.
Yeah.
I became very good at that and I became a personal trainer. So what I started to teach as a coach, when I started working as a coach and realizing that I could not only transform my own life, but I could do the same for anyone that wanted to listen, I started to focus on physical mastery.
Can I just ask you a question there? Like, when you made that transition, like when you have transformation in your life and you went from being that guy on the decks and all the party life, and then you found that, that space of awareness and you changed, what happened around you with the people around you at that time as you moved away? Because, we talk about when people grow and develop, they tend to sort of shed, if you like, some people that not so great. Yeah. So how was that?
I'm conscious that I haven't answered your first question yet, but to answer that question, when I changed, the people changed. So
Yeah.
not that they changed who they were, most of the people in my life changed. And I started to hang around different people because one of the first of the three things that I learned at 23 years old when wanting to get my life right, I was told, change your language, change your environment, and do what you love. That's why I got a job in fitness, because I'd always done fitness.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the short answer to that. To answer the first question, how did this, you said, tell me about mind, body, heart. I hadn't got there yet. So that I started in body transformation.
Yeah.
After 3 years as a personal trainer, I realized that as a result of the success of my clients, it wasn't because of coaching them in physiology. It was about coaching them in psychology. And that actually I could be more powerful, more influential, more impactful if I help people with their mind mastery and then cover the body stuff within the mind. So I started to work on mind. And then many years later, I felt qualified enough because of my own experience to help people heal their own hearts. Because you're never really going to master yourself if you haven't healed your own wounds and everything that you believe that's limiting you.
That's interesting, because there's, a lot of times people teaching or coaching in things that perhaps they don't have the experience in. Certainly that kind of deep transformational work, going through parts of that is not fun, right? It's not easy to shift your mindset and to, like you say, to heal yourself, to look at the darker side, the shadow side that we all have, the bit that we don't want to look at. And it's nice to look at all the good, positive stuff. But actually, when you're doing, what we might refer to as that deep work, it's, it's rough, right? Because it's a big, bright, shiny mirror. And so until you've done some of that yourself, and of course, like you say, we're never cooked, we're never done. There's always more to come. Then it starts to really deepen your skills for other people. So yeah, you're so right.
And through physical mastery and mind mastery, a lot of people are able to, on the outside, look successful, even feel successful. But you and I both know, you have a great sense of awareness too, that you can look at people and you can know, right? I don't mind if people look at me like that, because it's true. They've still got work to do. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think
you can look at someone and you can think, they've still got work to do on themselves, the way they talk, the way they communicate, etc. What were you saying? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just agreeing really. And I think that we're all at the different stages. That's what's interesting.
My dogs.
You got your what?
My dogs have just come into the room. I've just shushed them away.
Oh yeah, Charlie's been upstairs with my daughter, like, silence, I'm doing a live. No barking.
It's interesting.
So let's talk about the part where you talk about living from your heart, because obviously when we talk about business coaching, so I coach in business, a lot of people think it's very separate. So you've got your business and this is how you operate there, and then you've got the personal development business. But of course, my take on that is that it is all one, because you can't coach a business. Like, I don't coach a business, I coach the woman behind the business. So it's self-development. And sometimes when you might talk about that in the business coaching realm, they don't always respond too well from that, thinking that they're separate. So let's talk about like living from your heart, but also operating your business from your heart. How do you feel about that?
First of all, the highest power in the world is love. Everything is love and about love, and therefore business should be about love. But like I did in my own life, sometimes we end up in business or in our careers doing what we're good at based on evidence of our own life or qualifications, as opposed to doing what it is that we really truly want to do.
Yes.
So we've taken what we know in our head and we've put that into practice, and we are not actually doing what we really want to do. And this is the power of coaching. I went to San Diego to spend time with one of my teachers, and she said to me that you are doing what you're very good at, but you're playing it safe because you're not doing why you believe you're here. And I was like, whoa. So in business,
because it was true, right? Because you felt it in those words. You felt that.
It was true. And that is where my journey into teaching heart mastery started.
Because it was true, right? Because you felt it in those words. I'm trying to tag Michael and get technical because he wanted to see you, and then suddenly the phone's just gone on the volume. You'll have to forgive me. It's like,
I'll go to, while you fix that, I'll just say
I've done it. It's fine. I just wanted to tag him because he was looking forward to listening to you.
Nicole says they're both connected. I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
Probably the business and the personal, perhaps. Like you said, some people are doing what they're good at with their heads and what they're trained for. And you're right, you know, because I've experienced some people having a business, but apparently like finding it hard and not really enjoying it. And everything's very task-based, and coaching people that sort of, and it's like, sometimes the question is, do you really love what you're doing? Because it seems to be quite hard work for you.
Catherine has said here in the comments, heal your wounds, so important. Yes, because if you truly have healed yourself, whether through meditation or living in silence or going to, you know, live in a Buddhist meditation center, or you've done plant medicine, or you've, I don't know, reinvented yourself in some way and healed yourself in some way. If you haven't healed all of you and you don't accept and own all of who you are, you're never going to be all of what you can be and who you can be. And you're not going to serve to that degree either. So you might live a very good life doing what you're good at.
Yes.
But you'll never be doing that thing that, you know, gives you your ultimate purpose. That's the meaning of life, is why are we here? And it's not to excel at what we're good at. It's to live a life of meaning, of the greatest meaning, of the most powerful meaning and purpose. And healing is where that lies. You know, I could have easily, if I didn't have a coach, and if I didn't have people see me for who I really am and who I'm capable of being, I'd probably still be doing the same things that I was doing 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's so interesting, that, isn't it? Because people like to bury what is painful, and, you know, things that have happened, well, we'll just bury that down, we'll forget about that, we'll just move on. And then you see people wrap themselves up in a lot of success, a lot of financial success perhaps as well, and yet still miserable and still seeking and still struggling. And it's not until they start to get into, like you talk about, that heart space, that connection, where you actually pick out a few of those things and go, okay, maybe it's time I'll have a look. And then you reach out, you get a coach, therapist, mentor, whoever it might be, because you're right, it's that different perspective, isn't it? Those different eyes that see you from how you see yourself. You know, we can't see everything ourselves, which is what, of course, coaching is about, which is beautiful. So, you know, you talk about living from with contribution, not consumption. And how important that is. Can we just talk about that a little bit? That whole consumption note of how people.
In my early 20s, I'm close to 40 now. My early 20s and late teens, I wanted to have more in my life. So I thought that my C plan for life was going to be, let me go out there in the world and consume more. And the problem with consuming is when you're not actually in the act of consuming, you end up feeling like you're empty. So I got to a point when I was 23, and as a DJ and moving to London and working in bars and clubs, and I consumed a lot of things, right? Some of it good, some of it very fun, some of it naughty, some of it very bad. But at 23 years old, when I was in Riga, Latvia, and I just played a New Year's Eve gig, and the next morning I was in the Radisson Hotel overlooking the river, I was all on my own and I was intoxicated. And I just thought, this is not a plan. Trying to get more and more and more for yourself will only get you so much, because when you start your day and when you end your day, you're always with yourself. You start your day alone and you always come home to you.
And that's it.
It's how you feel in those moments that make you feel truly blessed. And I can tell you now from my own experience, I don't know everything, Teresa, but what I do know is, if the last moments of your day, you're thinking about what you've consumed, you're always going to want to consume more. And it's never going to feel good, because you always feel like you're missing something. But if you wake up and you go to bed and what you're thinking about is giving to your clients, to your business, to your community, to your family, you can never get enough of that. But it's always going to make you feel amazing.
You don't run out of energy then. I mean, I think people that become depleted in their energy, the focus isn't in the right place like that. And this is why I chose you, and I wanted to contact you for this whole article and to be the cover coach, because this sits so well with what I believe and how I feel about a lot of things. And all of that is outsourcing. Again, outsourcing is great. It's good to have things. Things can make you happy. You can have some stuff in life. But like when you sit at the end of the day, you've got to be okay with yourself. And like now, we are all in a very solitary position. And you see all the different reactions of people and how they are coping, not coping. And we're all humans. So we go through the range of emotions. But I'm pretty sure that you're doing okay, you know, with that. And, you know, I'm doing okay. I have my ups and downs, but it's basically because I'm okay with being who I am. And that's it. That's just okay with me. It's fine. There's plenty of work to do. There's plenty to be found, but I'm all right with that. I look at the dark side. I look at the shadow side. I do the work I need to do when I can sort of handle those chunks and in time with my life. And that's really important, I think, because people are losing sight. I felt it for quite a long time. People are they're very outsourced to everything. It's all about getting.
I choose the people in my life very carefully, and the people that I do have in my life, we all have we have a similar conversation, which is right now we're out there serving more than we ever have. Rather than, and I'll tell you now, people that are suffering in isolation and in confinement, it's because they're focused on themselves. You cannot be in suffering if you're locked in home and you're spending a large, I'm not going to say all of your day, and it's not extreme, but you're spending most of your focus on helping others, on being there for people. There's beauty in that. There's freedom in that. There is power in that. There's beauty, freedom, and power in contribution.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you anything. That is the most beautiful thing.
People are not tapping into this. It's there right within you, and it makes you feel good. I mean, times when I might feel a bit slower or a bit sort of, you know, down on stuff, I think, right, you know, what can I do? What can I put out there? Keep my focus, keep myself busy. And when people are happy to receive what I'm doing, when they're happy to read the magazine, happy to read your article, and they're getting stuff right, that makes me feel great. It's that whole thing, which you also talk about in the article, don't you? So let's talk about that famous the word, South African word from Nelson Mandela. So let's talk about that.
So Nelson Mandela made a African word very famous, Ubuntu, which means I am because of you. I'll come into that a little bit now. I was still saying what I was going to say based on what we were last discussing is with my business clients, what I will say to them up front is, let's be clear, if your business is about you, you're already failing. Because then how much you give to your business is always going to depend on how you feel, what's going on in your own life or what's going on internally. So let's set that out straight.
That's so true.
Make sure that, like I said at the beginning of our conversation, that business should be about love. Every day, whatever it is you're doing as a coach, speaker, trainer, author, therapist, whatever, you want to make sure that your intention behind your action is always to serve. As spiritual as that sounds, it's the truth. So with Ubuntu, part of the 3 pillars that I teach, mind, body, and heart mastery. To describe heart mastery, it's to live an altruistic life where you do not live for yourself. You truly believe that the reason why you exist is to serve. And I latched onto the word Ubuntu because Ubuntu means I am because of you, Teresa. But that means also, if you flip that around, that you are because of me. So living a truly altruistic life, not at the expense of yourself, keeping your cup full, but it's caring for others as much as you care for yourself. It's wanting to empower others as much as you want to empower yourself. It's wanting the success for others as much as you want it for yourself. And that for me is what Ubuntu means. It's not thinking that you're separate, I think, like you said before, but it's every day thinking that that person is me. I am that person. So let me try and do for them as much as I'm doing for myself.
We're all reflections, right? And that's so powerful because you think, well, is that so hard to do? People struggle with it. Is it really so hard to do? You don't have to do it on a massive scale every day. You just have to be in that mindset where you can do that, because that will, come back to you tenfold, of course. Like, you also refer to that, and we talk about that. You give what you get what you give, and you reap what you sow, and all that kind of stuff. But just imagine the power if everybody, every human did that just a little bit, yeah, blow our heads off.
We
Just
would
a
just
tiny bit, just a
very
tiny
different
bit.
worlds. We
A
would
lot
have
of it
a very
is,
different world. Yeah. Nicole says, I don't feel aligned or purposeful when I'm not helping others. Me too. Me too. But I always do it from a full cup. That's very, let me be very clear on that. It's not living a life, I'm going
yes,
to give, give, give. No, it's give to yourself so much that your cup overflows, and then you constantly just want to, by nature,
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to give
And
to
it's easy. Then it's easy. I mean, some of my clients say
people.
to me, T, I don't know how you do everything that you do. And I'm like, it's not that difficult, really, because I love it. I love doing all that work. I love doing the magazine. I love doing the coaching. And it's not difficult. But then when they're struggling and it's difficult, guess where the problem is? It's not in the business. It's never in the business. It's always with them and other stuff that's going on, which then slows them down, grinds them down.
Absolutely.
And you've got to spend time dealing with that and then back to the business. So it is all connected, which again is why I love what you do, because it translates to all areas of life. So
If we look at the most powerful force in the world, I said love.
mm,
But if we look on an energy scale, right, like at the bottom, the lowest frequency is anger, hate, resentment. At the highest frequency of energy is love and
yeah,
gratitude and appreciation.
yeah,
So those that are grateful, those that are in love with serving, in love with their lives, etc., they're going to naturally have more energy. Time is an emotion. You know, we all have exactly the same amount of time every single day.
yes,
So what allows you to get more done in the same amount of time as everyone else? It's energy, physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental. And what gives us energy? What we're living in and the space we're living in. So like I said, gratitude, appreciation, love, connection,
mm, mm,
community, service,
mm,
all of those things are going to give you more natural energy,
yeah.
so you're able to get more done.
And those are, you just listed some of my sort of highest values and the things that make me feel the nicest. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's all about connection and community. And I don't really ever run out of steam, to be honest. I love it, but I didn't used to. I didn't always used to love what I did in the past when I was in corporate and I was in sales and I was targeted on my head and I was just, work, work, work. I didn't love it at all. All I was doing was complaining, right? Because I wasn't happy with it. So in the end, I listened to myself and I jacked all of that in and completely scaled down and then rebuilt up something else, which has changed me along the way, which is why I believe in, training and development and coaching so passionately, which I know you do too. So thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to say to the community at all? Anything we haven't covered? A final word of
Yeah,
wisdom?
so actually something that just came to me right now. Thank you for that last opportunity to share something. Coming down to energy again, that's what I teach. I help people optimize and maximize their energy in all areas so that they can master their mind, their body, and their heart. And just know, on the back of what we just were sharing, just know that if you have a lack of energy, it's for two reasons. And I appreciate there's a lot of coaches here. They might already know this, but sometimes I say I don't actually teach anything. I just remind people of what they already know.
Yeah, I love that.
There's two reasons why you might have a lack of energy. One, because your thoughts are not in alignment with doing that thing. So you don't want to do it. You're procrastinating for some reason. So either it needs to change your thinking or it's change that thing. If I find myself for too long in my life not having energy to do something, I know that it's because that thing no longer serves me. And actually, someone once said to me about 3 years ago, JP, you're always changing what you're doing. And I said, yes, I'm glad you noticed, because I'm always changing.
Yeah.
I'm working so hard on myself that every 3 years,
Yeah.
It's understandable that I want to do different things. So if you find yourself in a space or in a place or in an environment or industry or niche that isn't actually giving you energy anymore, doesn't mean that you have to change the thing, but you got to change something. Maybe
Yes.
just change the thing about the thing. Here's an example. I used to, when I went from personal training to coaching, I didn't know how else to call myself other than a life coach. So I had the label of a life coach, and I attracted people with life problems.
Yes.
I wanted to work on their life. And I walked with all different types of people. But to know my story, you'll know that I've always been about high performance, getting the best out of life, and having high performance habits and stuff. And after a while, I became disillusioned, and I started to coaching stopped giving me energy. And I got to the end of a coaching call and I had less energy after every call than going into that call.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because I'd given my all and I'd felt like I wasn't getting anything back. And if you're doing what you love, it should be like an injection of energy. By doing it, you should have more energy on the back end of it as you had going into.
It's like a feed, isn't it?
It feeds you. Doing what you love feeds you. So if it doesn't give you energy, say, okay, here's a great question. What about what I do does fill my heart? What about what I do does give me energy? And I started to look at the types of people I was working with and the success stories that I had. And I was able to put together an avatar of the type of journey I want to take people on. And I wanted to work with people that wanted to be the world champion of their life. They didn't want to just be okay or come out of suffering. No, they wanted to, and they were committed to making the most of themselves, for their business, for their family. So I said, okay, I'm no longer going to be a life coach. I want to only work. That's my niche. It's not a judgment on others. I only want to work with high performers because I give a lot of my time to my clients and I want to live in a high performance space. I've got to have high performance people in my life. And then, I don't know when that was, six years ago, I started saying I'm a high performance coach, and we get what we focus on. I just started to attract high performers.
Yeah. Power of the niche, right? Figuring out through all that different kinds of coaching experiences and the different kinds of clients, thinking I enjoy this, not so much that. And that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. Like you say, it's not a judgment. It just helps us to figure out where we operate best for other people, which is what it is all about. Back to square one again,
Once again, for the third time, everything is energy, and everything and experience and person in our life is either giving us energy, filling our cup, or robbing us of energy.
Biggest lesson ever.
Even unintentionally. They don't know that we're doing it. We just don't know that it's happening to us. So, awareness truly is the first step to changing. And I'm doing it right now. There's something in my life that I'm assessing. Can I still keep showing up in this area? Because it doesn't give me energy anymore. Without judging it from an objective point of view, I'm looking at it from different angles. See, do I need to stop doing this and do something else? Because life is short. Look, I almost lost my life last year when I was hit by a drunk driver on my bicycle. And
horrendous,
I just refuse to settle for less energy and love and impact that I know I can have and be in my life.
And what I liked about what you said there is that it's not judgment on anything, any person, any situation. It's literally, like it is a full assessment using that space of awareness so that you know that you're not thinking, you're kind of feeling, you're in that gap where you can observe it and you can figure out what's right and what's wrong. And that's the path of coaching, which is why it's so amazing. I think when people start to experience it themselves, they go, this is what it's all about. It's amazing. And pre that, it's a little bit, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. But if you don't know, then you should definitely take a look, right? Get a bit closer. So how can people get closer to you? Where can they find you?
So first of all, I just want to acknowledge the comments here again.
Sure.
Michael says, oh, sorry, I had to nip out. Cheers, Michael. I love that. If something doesn't give you energy, it doesn't serve you anymore, you will be in conflict with yourself. Absolutely. A lot of what I do and what we do as coaches, we help people overcome themselves.
The conflict.
How can people get closer to me? My name, you're going to see my name in this group, Jean-Pierres, and you'll find me on Instagram, on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. My Facebook friends profile, whatever, has reached its limit years ago, but I'm very active on my page. I also do a little bit of Twittering. I'm not very good at it. And what else? LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn's great.
Most of the time, Instagram and Facebook and anything you need to know about me can be asked there, message there, comment.
Fabulous. And that's the thing, you are so responsive, you are so warm, you are so welcoming. And that was a lovely thing when I first sort of reached out to you, because looking at the different coaches, the people I want to connect with, I think, oh, I don't know, will they speak to me? Am I, will they want to know? And some don't actually, but sort of many do. And you were one of those. It's just like so natural, so friendly and lovely. So thank you so much. And if you haven't read the article, everybody, please go and read it. Follow Jean-Pierre. There's some super inspiring stuff, and we haven't had time to dig into the story of his recovery and the accident, but if you just root around, you will find all of that for yourself. And there's a documentary too, right, that people can watch.
If they go to YouTube and they type in my name and the challenge that changed my life, it's
on my list. I haven't watched it yet, but it's definitely on the watch list. So thanks again so much for your time. I really hope people have enjoyed watching this, and if you watch later on the replay, let us know. Any questions, comments, I'm sure that Jean-Pierre will be happy to answer them retrospectively. So thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Always love connecting with you. Thanks, Teresa.
Same. Thank you. Take care now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.